Hello and welcome to the Boost Over Ball podcast, your go-to place for everything Rocket League with your hosts, K-Cube, AJ Binky, and Red. So lean forward, lock in, and get ready to go Boost Over Ball.
Hello and welcome back to the Boost Over Ball podcast. To listeners new and old, hello and welcome to the show. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Kyle, K-Cube, and I'm joined by the Rumble God, Pandy, and Snow Day Main, AJ. How's it going, guys?
You know it's going to be a good episode when the first words of voice crack. Let's rock it.
Hey.
Heck yeah.
I mean, it's been a while since we recorded. We took a week off for the 4th of July and Canada Day that week. I pre-recorded an episode before that for last week's episode. A little bit of difficulties for a episode that's going to release tonight. So it's been, almost 3 weeks since we sat down and recorded. So got to get the faults out of the way early.
True.
But we got a little bit lighter of a day today. We're working on trying to get some more interviews for you guys and to bring some more exciting content. So today we'll be talking about how the Shift Summer League has been going so far, giving our thoughts on that, giving people a rundown for people who haven't been paying attention. And we're recording on Wednesday night. And the final matches of the week for NA are currently happening right now, so we may update our rankings here towards the end. Or, actually it would be smarter is if we start with EU, and then by the time NA finishes up, we'll have those results, hopefully. So I think that's actually probably what we should do.
Let's do it.
Okay. Well, for people who are unfamiliar, we don't have any RLCS action until September, mid-September. So we got about 2 months, and so there are some smaller tournaments cropping up, like the Shift Summer League. There's an EU and an NA version, and in this we had a play-in tournament to determine who would get to make the league play portion of the Shift Summer League. And for EU, our teams that qualified are 100%, Saudade, Espertaco, Fake GA, and we also have Oxygen, Luna Galaxy, Jobless, GridServe Resolve, JJ Rocks, and Endpoint. And so for people who are a little bit, people will know Oxygen, Luna Galaxy, Resolve, Jobless. JJ Rocks is Stake, Marked by 8, and Cataclysm. Endpoint remains Arjumethane Toxic. Saudade is Sizen, Rise Fox, and Mitzer. 100% remains Lewis P, Crispy Acro. Fake GA is Rizex, Tech, and Ivan. And Espertaco is Dorito, Stizzy, and Dying. For some newer listeners, they are using the league play format. So they will play everybody in the league play with the top 4 teams advancing into the playoff upper semifinals, and the 5th and 6th place team advancing to the lower quarterfinals, and 7 through 10 being eliminated. So we've played 6 matches so far betwixt all of these teams, and the current standings are Oxygen at 5-1, Luna Galaxy and 100%, and Fake GA are tied at 4-2. We have Endpoint at 4-2, Jobless at 3-3, Saudade at 3-3. Resolve at 2-4, Espertaco at 1-5, and JJ Rocks at 0-6. Anything kind of stick out for you guys here, based on the teams that qualified, the teams that are playing in this event, or not playing in this event?
I can't say I'm surprised that Oxygen is in first right now. I mean, you have your 5th place EU team in points at first. Basically, the first place EU team that is actually competing in RLCS is first in this event, so that's not a surprise. Luna Galaxy, a team that we've covered before that has come a long way and ended up, I believe, with 16 points in the last event, so qualifier 6, is a team we're all expecting, I feel like, to be pretty solid, and they seems like they have been so far. But they also have the addition of CRR from Complexity, so that's going to be a solid team. I would expect nothing less but those two to be the ones to finish it off for the $20K grand prize.
Yeah. So also another thing to
Who's
note,
on fake GA?
fake GA is Rizex, Tech U, and Ivan.
Oh,
I
okay.
have no idea who that is.
Really?
Yeah, I can't lie. No idea. I don't
Um,
follow EU as much as I really should, to be honest.
Ah, that's fair. Okay.
And then
Only the
for-
top.
I was gonna say that them being up there was fairly surprising to me, but that's just because I didn't know who was on the team, and
I mean,
I
they
feel like it
they
kinda
came in
makes
they
sense
came in through
after
the
knowing.
they came in through the play-ins, right? So there were
Oh, did they?
6 teams that were invited and 4 teams that made it through the play-ins. So Oxygen, Luna Galaxy,
cool.
Complexity, Jobless, Resolve, JJ Rocks, and Endpoint were all invited, and Saudade, 100%, Espartaco, and Fake GA were all play-in teams. But also now that I'm looking at it, Luna Galaxy Complexity has Atomic Toxin CRR. Jobless now has the addition of Oli, Ixo, and Nas. So a little bit different than the Jobless that you maybe are accustomed to from the last split in EU. But I mean, it kind of seems like everything is going, kind of the way it should, at least for what I would expect, right? So you have Oxygen only losing 1 series to Endpoint, but for the most part, they seem to be pretty dominant with a close series against Resolve, but a sweep against Jobless and a sweep against JJ Rocks. But so if the league play ended today, which it does not, your teams advancing to the upper semifinals would be Oxygen, Luna Galaxy Complexity, 100%, and Fake GA. To the upper semifinals, and advancing directly to the lower semifinals are Endpoint and Jobless. So with that being said, we got multiple more matches left to go for these teams. 2 weeks left of the league play tournament. If you guys had to pick a winner, who are you picking?
Oxygen, 100%.
Oxygen.
I think that's a pretty safe bet. I think that they are certainly one of the better teams here. Maybe Luna Galaxy can turn it around and step it up, but I will also be interested to see when Oxygen plays. They played on the 23rd, so next week they play. Oxygen plays Luna Galaxy, so I'll be interested to see what happens with that. But next we can jump back up on the dock to North America now that we have a couple more results coming in here, and we'll kind of go through it again. Like I said, there's some invited teams, there's some play-in teams. Your invited teams are G2 Stride, Gen G, Space Station, OG, Reddles Magic Cheese, and Shopify, and your play-in teams are Pirates on a Boat, Fun, Dignitas, and Incorrect. Fun is Talk, Nitrous, and T-Corel. Pirates on a Boat is 5-Up Andy Eris. Dignitas is Arsenal, Evo, Zanil. And Incorrect is Flitz, Expert, Wonder Mike. And then everything else remains to be the same for the rest of the teams. So
I am surprised that we see, and you'll talk about it in a second, but I'm surprised we see some teams at certain ranks.
yeah, I mean we have all 4. A little bit different than EU. You see some of your top dogs in here that got invited. I'm not sure why that's the case, but I can't say I'm disappointed for getting to watch some form of Rocket League.
True, very true.
Exactly. Yeah. But we have the top 4 North American teams, and kind of the top 6 actually. But those are your teams that are invited. It's very different than what happened in EU. So we have we can go into a little bit more depth on this one, I think, because it's NA and a lot of people will want to see this. But you have Pirates on a Boat qualifying through the upper bracket, as well as Fun. Pirates on a Boat taking down Dignitas taking down TSM. And then in the lower bracket, we have Dignitas taking down the Snowmen to qualify through the lower bracket. And we have TSM losing to NRG in the lower bracket, who loses to Incorrect, and Incorrect takes down the Peeps to qualify. So I kind of hate to say it, but I also kind of don't hate to say it. NRG, again comes up short in a tournament where you'd think that they would do better. Their team was Garrett, Aqua, and Koifer. Again, I think Snowmen and TSM would also be, kind of two teams that would expect more of themselves with their roster staying the same.
Like TSM especially.
Exactly. Yeah, they would have fancied themselves a lot better. The Snowmen with their, maybe they were one hit wonders with the second event, but definitely, I don't know if it's fair to say higher level competition, but like more higher end competition here in the NA versus an EU. But our current standings, and we're waiting on the G2 Redo's Magic Cheese match to finish up, which must mean that they went to Game 5 because Redo's Magic Cheese was up 2-0 in a best of 5, and they're the only game that still has not completed yet. So as of right now, Space Station Gaming leads the way at 5-1. Redo's Magic Cheese is 4-1. Dignitas is 4-2. G2 Stride is 3-2. Gen G, Incorrect, and Shopify are all 3-3. OG is 2-4. Fun and Pirates on a Boat are 1-5. And like I said, we're waiting on the G2 Redo's Magic Cheese match to finish up here. So once that happens, we will update you guys on that.
Apparently, that game is Game 5. The score is 1-1. Apparently.
Okay, good to know. So
1-2.
Oh.
Who scored?
G2.
Ooh, almost maybe potential for a reverse sweep here to jump them back up higher in the rankings. But the same with EU. The top 4 qualify directly into upper semifinals. The 5th and 6th place to lower quarterfinals. So as of right now, we have Space Station, Redo's Magic Cheese, Dignitas, and G2 all advancing to uppers, and Shopify and OG advancing to lowers. A little bit interesting to me that you see OG not in the top 4. You see Redo's Magic Cheese. You see, Dignitas up there, where you're not really seeing the actual top 4 from NA.
3-1.
I obviously, with all respect, I really expected more from OG this season.
Me too.
Granted, they almost made Worlds, but I really thought Knowledge JNapsCom was going to be more than it was. I feel like they were kind of just a top 8 team, and that was about it. And it's odd to see. And granted, you're right. It is more distributed talent in this event. It's still pretty much every top NA team.
I mean, it seems more top heavy in NA than it did in EU, just because we don't see the top 4 EU teams.
Exactly. It's more of a challenge to be in the playoffs, I guess, the upper semis and quarters. But I really thought OG would still be able to compete, which, I mean, they're 2-4. It's not like they're out of it, but I don't know. I don't know if they've got a tough draw or what, but I mean, it's just it's the same top 4 back at. I mean, Dignitas is up there, which is kind of fun to see. But awaiting the result of the G2 game could push down OG even more.
Yeah, so OG has lost to Incorrect, they've lost to Fun, and they've beat G2, they've beat Redo's Magic Cheese, and they beat Space Station.
That doesn't make any sense.
No, it does not. And
they beat all the teams that are 1st, 2nd, and 3rd.
Yep. And they lost to Incorrect in Game 5. They lost to Fun in Game 5. Incorrect in Game 4, and Fun in Game 5. So all but one of their series has gone to Game 5, and so it kind of just seems like who can outlast for them. Whereas you look at like your G2, and they have some sweeps in there, and granted, they got 0-3'd by Space Station early on. So, but I think you're right. Like, it's weird to see and maybe they're not taking this as seriously as they would for RLCS, or
Yeah,
maybe
that's kind of what I was thinking.
Yeah.
they're not necessarily boot camping, or they're I don't want to say like on summer vacation, but like maybe they're like visiting their parents or something and playing on a setup that's not normal, or there's all kinds of different stuff that could like potentially be like changing this. But like it's still weird to me to see, it's good to see, but it's weird to see your Red Rose Magic Cheese, your Dignitas, your Incorrects all outperforming like Gen G, OG, Shopify, and like Pirates on a Boat, even, because like looking back at it, like Incorrect is a team that made one top 16 and they did not really do much. Dignitas missed a couple of regionals. Luminosity, your round 5 Swiss Merchants never seemed to be able to do what they needed to do to get over the hump, except for in regional number 4. So it's interesting to see like some of the different results and like how much of a mixed bag it is. And then on the other hand, you see Space Station. I feel like Space Station's kind of been on a rise since the middle of the second split. They've kind of continued to improve. The team has kind of started to gel and mesh together better, and it seems like they're on an upward trajectory headed towards Worlds. I'm not sure what you guys think about that.
I think I'd need to see more from them, and I think the more from them is this event, and right now they are giving more. I mean, they're 5-1 in the first 6 games against tough teams. So
Yeah.
you're right. I'd like to see Space Station compete at Worlds. I feel like Space Station has always been that team that just kind of exists that season. They're not like a holy crap, I'm playing Space Station, but it's also like, oh, that's a free win. It's just kind of like, yeah, they're a team that's there. They exist. But this could be their
They're the team
opportunity
that,
to show
like,
people that
only
they're...
lost to G2 and
Yeah.
NG, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
They
Yeah, I feel
lost.
like they should be at Worlds.
I talked about this in that episode that I pre-recorded with Bel Air,
Yeah.
but Space Station lost 7 series this split, in like the second split. 4 of them were to G2, 2 of them were to Gen G, and it's like, it's seriously like they only lose to those 2 teams, and for them to come out and sweep G2 in this event, granted, some things may not be equal, right? Maybe they're not taking it as seriously. Maybe they're like, pre-jumping the shit out of everything, and all
man,
that.
money doesn't know where it came from. Money's money.
This is true. You can only play the games that you have in front of you. So, credit to Space Station. I think that you're right. I think that it might be time to break out the Space Station merch from the last time we were in Dallas. I think that they could be a fun team to watch as we head towards that. But go ahead. Sorry.
I was just saying I agree.
But with that, we have similar to EU. We'll make our predictions here as we wait for this G2 Red Rose Magic Cheese former Luminosity match to finish up. But if you had to predict a winner, we still have 2 weeks left to go for the league play matches before we get into playoffs. But if you guys had to pick a winner, who are you picking?
B2.
Cop-out answer.
I mean, I feel like
I'm kidding.
I feel like you're just dumb if you don't pick G2, right?
Hey, give me Space Station, man. Come on.
Oh,
They're on a tear.
You
Give me
can have
Space
'em.
Station. G2, they're the clear favorite. Let's be honest.
For a reason, though.
Yes, they won the major. Second in the first major. It's obvious. But Space Station's competing well. Yes, G2 is still right there, but I would like to see also, do we know the result of that game? Let's see.
it just finished up. G2
G2 won.
Okay, well, G2's only a match behind Space Station, but
So
I don't know. Something K-Cube just said just kind of resonated in my mind about how they're playing to win. I like it.
Our updated standings now that the G2 match is won and they've officially reverse swept Red Rose Magic Cheese. We have Space Station at 5-1, Dignitas at 4-2, G2 and Red Rose Magic Cheese at 4-2, Gen G Incorrect at 3-3, along with Shopify. OG is at 2-4, and Fun and Pirates on a Boat are at 1-5. So nothing really changes, just kind of shifts some of the teams around in the top 4.
Who do you have to win, Kyle?
I'll go a little bit different. I think G2 is if they're playing like Worlds or Major 2 champion G2, then it's got to be them. but in this tournament, I like Redo's Magic Cheese. I think they have a lot to play for. I think they have a lot to prove to people. We'll talk about it more in roster moves, news, whatever you want to call it. But they currently are not represented by an org, and so I think that they're trying to like, hey, look, we're a good team. Like we just didn't
win some money.
Exactly. We didn't have the great results last split, but we're trending in the right direction. So I'm interested to see what happens with that. But did you guys have anything else you wanted to add on Shift Summer League stuff before we move over to some Rocket League news?
No, sir.
What's the prize pool?
20K.
Yeah, all right.
20K.
Like not a tremendous amount, but it's like way more than I kind of thought originally it was going to be.
Yeah.
But then you have to think about it, right? It's 20K for both, for US and then for EU.
Right.
So good for Shift. Good for Shift.
Yeah.
Now into some interesting, maybe potentially controversial stuff.
Rip.
But it was announced recently that Twisted Minds signed Nuepo. Do you guys have any thoughts on that?
Yes,
back up a
I
little
have
bit.
a lot of thoughts on that.
Discord decided otherwise.
Where to even start?
Twisted Minds signed Nuepo. What do you guys think?
Twisted Minds?
Yeah.
I mean, we all know the history. We all know the lore.
Yeah. He's
If
good.
the reputation's there, it's there. But I think the bridge has been burnt with a lot of people with him, but he's a good player. You can't really see past that. So you can't really, I don't know. There's obviously two sides of the coin to look at, and whichever side you feel like looking at, it's whichever side you're going to go with. It seems like Twisted Minds went with the good player side of that coin. So,
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't entirely agree with him being able to play given the scenario, but
Yeah.
who am I to say that?
I feel like we've seen bans for less from RLCS.
True.
We have
Very
from
true.
MLE. I know that much.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think
Shout
I don't
out.
think he's using ranked bots. I
Not
don't think he's playing
not in
drop shot in
not in
RLCS.
official matches though. It doesn't matter.
He's sticking to his, what is it, 1.3? What was it?
Yeah, it's rule 1.3.
Yeah.
Shout out Minor League Esports.
But yeah, I mean, we see the same thing in like American football, right? It's like the joke has been made. It's not the Hall of Good Guys; it's the Hall of Fame. And just because you are very good doesn't mean that you get to get away with everything. But it certainly seems to be if you're really good at stuff, you can get away. You can get away with a lot.
How old is he?
Nuepo? Like
Yep.
16, 17?
Yeah, say very young still.
Yeah, I mean, people change. He's got time.
Yeah, that's fair. He's currently 17.
Okay, yeah, I mean, plenty of time.
Yeah,
But-
so could have been a bad decision.
It was also quick, so yeah.
Yeah, that's true. He will most notably fill in for Ahmad, who announced his retirement earlier this offseason, and will pair up with Mason and SMW on Twisted Minds. So making them, in my opinion, probably the second favorite in the region. Now that Rule 1 has announced their departure. Maybe third if you're looking at anything as well, but
Welcome back.
ADC again?
No. Welcome back, Twisted Minds. The competition.
Yep. But
Gotcha.
next, we'll talk about Squishy joins Cloud9 as an owner this time, content creator and owner. He was a content creator with Rule 1, but that fell through, and it was announced that he will be a content creator and a part owner of Cloud9. It just feels right.
Third time's the charm.
Oh, jeez. We have Solary releasing Astral, kind of a in the margins move. Solari didn't really do much this season. We have Crispy and Simas set to compete in NA next season, making the jump from EU. I'm not sure if they're teaming together or if they like have a destination in mind, but they will be making a region transfer to compete in NA. We also have
You must the demo god, right?
yes, indeed.
That's what I thought.
And then we've talked about it before, but Luminosity announced that they are releasing their roster, Redo's Magic Cheese. Cloud9 releases their roster, Kinsel Lion Blaze Zanil, and Moist released their roster, which is now which was Pirates on a Boat, Air Sandy 5 Up. And there's a couple more teams that are releasing their rosters in the wake of their RLCS season being done. What are your guys' thoughts on these teams releasing their roster?
Smart.
Seems like an issue with the format.
It certainly does.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much all I got. Like it just seems dumb. Like there shouldn't be a reason to have to do this.
I mean, I guess it speaks to like
But it's just
the
the
lack
smart thing to
of
do.
yeah. It speaks to like the lack of sustainability in esports, but like also at the same time, like if your team's not going to compete for 6 months, why
pay
would you
'em?
pay them? Exactly.
Yeah. That's why I said it's smart. Like if you're Moist Esports or if you're Luminosity and you got this roster that's sitting there for literally 6 months waiting to do anything because there's no events, that one is stupid to keep them and keep paying them, and two, it sheds light on, like AJ said, how faulty the format is, because it's like, holy crap, Rocket League every weekend for 4 straight months or 5 straight months. But then after that, it's just like, all right, Rocket League, let's make a new game, Rocket Racing, yeah. And then it's just like nothing happens. Oh, you just gotta
I
wait.
wish that game was good.
Don't even get me started. Don't even get me started.
Yeah.
I can make that a whole new episode for this.
A different episode for a different day.
Yep.
That's not no.
But I mean, like from a business perspective, it makes sense, right? And like
Absolutely.
this is how it works in other esports too. So like, you know, if you're going to compete for 8 months out of the year, you're going to sign an 8-month contract. Like that's just the way of things. And Moist and Cloud9 with the addition of Squishy and Luminosity have said that they don't want to leave the scene, that they're just, you know, dropping their roster for the meantime, which again, no hate towards them. It makes a ton of sense. This is a good business decision. This allows them to continue to field a roster for RLCS next season, in my personal opinion.
I like it.
However, I think it's also either like if you're not going to change the format, that's fine, but you need to give more funding to places that want to do a bigger tournament.
As I say, how about this? Big companies. How about you sponsor orgs in hosting big tournaments for thousands of dollars? That would give us more events. Yes, please.
More events, more publicity and exposure for teams, more reason for them to keep their roster. The list goes on, right? So like, because right now the biggest tournament would be Gamers 8, like outside of RLCS, and then you probably have like, you know, some like the Shift stuff and Rocket Baguette, but that's really only like European French teams, so like that's a little bit different. But you know, there needs to be more tournaments that allow for more exposure, that give orgs a reason to stick around through the off season if you're not going to change the RLCS format. But that's just my opinion.
We'll see.
Indeed. AJ, you got anything else that you want to add on that?
Very
I don't
insightful.
think so. I'm thinking. I was thinking hard about it, but I don't know. Fix Rocket League.
Fix your servers.
Bring back Drop Shot. I'm bored.
No, just fix literally everything about it.
Rocket League 2.
Anything.
UE5, maybe one day, maybe.
Pandy, you got anything else you want to
I'm
add
still
on?
convinced that's never gonna happen.
It's
Yeah.
probably not.
No.
UE5 was Rocket Racing.
That's probably what it was. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
stay tuned for the exclusive episode where we make fun of Rocket Racing for 1 straight hour. I feel like we've done that for more than an hour's long period of time over the last
Probably.
6 months.
Yeah, probably.
That's all I
It's
got,
worth
though. I could go on all day, but no, I don't want to bore the people.
Fair. Well, a little bit later of an episode this week, like we said, we're hoping to bring some more exciting interviews for you guys and some more, collaboration episodes like we've done previously. We got some more exciting stuff potentially in the works. But with that, we would like to wrap up today's episode. So thank you so much for listening. We'd like to remind you to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, join our Discord, and rate us wherever you listen to podcasts. Those 5 stars really help us out. Check out our Twitch, our TikTok, and our merch store. All of these links and more can be found on our awesome website, boostoverball.com. And from us here on the show, as always, remember to choose Boost over Ball.
Thanks for listening to the Boost Over Ball podcast. Make sure to check out our website at boostoverball.com.